got influenced to talk about this because my friend from Jamaica, who I work with, came to me yesterday at work, and he was like, every day I talk to him and I kind of make fun of him because I know that he just recently left Jamaica, maybe about 4 years ago, and he met a woman online, and he doesn't like her. He's not attracted to her at all. He's always angry with her, and basically he got with her so that it can help him become a citizen in America, but it's basically not helping him do that, because he can't have children with her. She can't have kids, so he basically is stuck with a work visa. But he married her with the intentions of having children with her because he thought that would be his best avenue to become an American citizen. Now Jamaica has this many people, 2.9 million people. So basically, Jamaica is the same size as it's about one-fourth the size of New York. So you can say that Jamaica is about the size of San Francisco and Louisville, Kentucky, put together. So Jamaica's a really tiny place. You can say that Jamaica's the size of Philadelphia and Richmond, Virginia, put together. But I just think it's something, man. These countries are notoriously poor, and I'm not just going to pick on the black country, Jamaica. I'm going to pick on India as well, because after I tell this story, I'm going to speak about an Indian guy. But this guy, when I first met him, he explained to me that in Jamaica, he didn't have many opportunities. Things were rough. The government didn't really have anything going on in terms of supporting the people. He was telling me that in his village, the government didn't even pick up the trash there. The people who lived there had to go burn it and stuff like that. So he was saying that the government didn't even care enough about their citizens to pick up their trash. They were really struggling. They were very poor. And, of course, Jamaica is one of those countries that's 100% dependent on tourism, and not even really really it's resorts. See, an American company or a European company will come to Jamaica and say, hey, we want to start a resort in your country, but you have to give us the land. We have to own the land, and we'll give you a certain percentage of profits for letting us, conduct business in your country. So the Jamaicans really don't own the tourism industry. They basically are selling the land and getting profits off it. And the problem with countries like Jamaica is there are more Jamaicans outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica. And so many people from Jamaica who could have helped benefit Jamaica have left. People who could have added value to that society. People who could have been doctors, lawyers. People who could have been teachers. People who could have made the government better. People who could have invested into that society in terms of human capital and just made it a better place, and it wouldn't have been poor. The reason why Jamaica is poor is because anybody from Jamaica who's successful gets out of there and goes to Europe, or they come to America. And even the people who are poor want to leave. And that causes a brain drain. And like I said, I know a guy from India. He gave up his citizenship. He never wants to go back to India. He's totally okay with that, because in India you can't be a citizen of another country. If you choose to be a citizen of another country, you have to drop your citizenship from India. He did that, and this Indian guy told me that I'm fine with it. I don't ever have to go back to India. I'm totally fine with being an American and never going back home. And I asked him, I said, are you really that desperate to leave your home country? Because I can't imagine that. I'm an American, and I just can't picture being so desperate to move to another country that I'm willing to drop the citizenship of my home country. And I guess things are different because America's a rich country, India's very poor. But at the same time, it's just like, wow, there are more. India's a huge country, but what happens is they still have this unofficial caste system where, basically if your father was a cook, you have to be a cook. If your father was a banker, you're going to be a banker. You can't straddle the fence. You can't do something that was not inherited to you. So if your father was a cook, you can't be a painter. You have to be a cook. If your father was a guy that just picked up trash in the street, you have to do that. You can't advance past what your caste is. And the rich people, the people at the top of the caste system, they're rich. They own industry. They own businesses in India. They make a lot of money in India. And they're the ones who can afford to travel to Europe and America. So that's why when you see people from India, they're always doing well financially. They either own businesses, they own convenience stores, they own 7-Elevens, they're doctors, they're dentists. And the reason for that is because we're only getting the successful Indians. The only people from India who can afford to travel to America are the rich ones. They're rich in India, and they use their riches to come to America, and then they never go back to India. But they want to live in Indian neighborhoods. Like my Indian friend, he tells me, yeah, the neighborhood that I live in is all Indian. And I said, can anybody move there? He said, well, anybody technically can move there, but technically you can't. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, the people who live in the neighborhood have a little group, like a members only type group. So basically, if you want to move to the neighborhood and build a house, the members of the community have to approve it. And usually they're not going to approve it if you're not Indian. And I said, wow, that's kind of discriminatory. You came here because you wanted better opportunity, and you were willing to give up citizenship to India. But now that you're here in America, you want to create your own India. And he said, yeah, even the church I go to is I go to a Baptist Christian church. It's 100% Indian. The preacher's Indian too. I said, what happens if I come to the church? They won't let you in. So that's kind of like the problem that I have with these immigrants. You know, it's not the fact that they are immigrants. It's the fact that they left their country. They gave up citizenship. They don't want to go back to their country and help their country. They're totally okay with just saying F you to their country and coming here. But when they come here, they want to create their country. They want to create. It's just an odd thing, you know. They don't really want to intermingle with American society or become one with American society. They want to bring their values from their home. And I mean, that's natural, I guess. I can't get mad at them for it. But when it gets to the point of becoming discriminatory and saying that this is only an Indian neighborhood, this is only an Indian church, it's like, so you really came here. I mean, it's just odd, you know. I just think about these things, and it's just, I just don't get it, you know. I look at it like this: if you wanted to be in an all-Indian neighborhood and an all-Indian church, why don't you just go back to India, you know, and be, you know, help your country become successful. Your country is very poor. You guys can't even afford to give toilets to your population, but here you are in America trying to create this little India, but you don't even care about India because you gave up your citizenship. So I mean, I don't know. I can't relate to it. And maybe it's because I'm an American and I've always had the blessings and privilege of living in a superpower country. But at the same time, sometimes immigrants just confuse me. Peace.